Hello and welcome to another edition of the Card Deck Creator Series with me, Ayesha Hilton, also the creator of the Card Deck Creators Toolkit. And I'm very delighted to have Erlinda Vo with me all the way from Arizona. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me.
I was just looking at your website before and just looking at a video that you had on YouTube with your card deck, and it was just so exciting, and the sheer joy that you had after manifesting and creating these cards 7 years in the making. So you're an energy alchemist, or the energy alchemist. You're the founder of Soul Care, the spa for your soul, and your card is the soul frequency card deck. So just tell me a little bit about, the heritage of this creation, the 7 years in the making, and I'd love to know more.
Yeah, absolutely. About 7 years ago, I had read David Hawkins' the book Power versus Force. It's a pretty popular book, and he does a scale of consciousness. And I thought to myself, wow, and I think in his book, he doesn't really think that you can kind of alter your consciousness. You're kind of like pretty consistent. Now, some things can increase it, I think. And I thought back then, like, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we knew what frequency we were? And so I wish I brought my old deck. I should have shown you. It was like, I created this old deck. It was just like kind of like like a label on it. And I just used that as my deck to really give people their frequency. And what I would do is I would assess what areas they were and what frequency they were, and like look to see what was blocking them. So as we navigated, I was like, okay, well, it would be really cool if I could create my own, right? My own way of measuring it, my own thing. And it took about 7 years, because it's like, how do you go ahead and look for, his was like the scale of consciousness. So he's talking about your consciousness level, right? And I was looking at more of a soul frequency. And what's the soul level? Where is your soul, and what emotion is your soul dealing with? And how can we like learn from there, like start there and then elevate, because it's all about vibing up. My mission is to vibe up the planet. So that's how they started.
I love that idea, and it's putting that almost a feminine approach to that scale, right? And because most of us have heard of the scale, and oops, I thought I was muted for a second. And we've been told we can't really shift up more than one level at a time, and when you're feeling pretty crap, that's really depressing. But what I've noticed is there are little things you can do just to switch up. Even like I was driving in the car the other day, and my daughter was cranky at me, and I just looked at the clouds, and they were so beautiful in this gorgeous blue sky. And I'm like, oh, look at these clouds. And I could shift up my vibration out of being, this annoyance and, antagonism with my child that we've all experienced as mothers. So I love your cards. So would you like to do some little show and tell for us? And then we can
Yes, I
talk about
would.
your process.
Yeah, I first I want to just let people know, like, I've been the energy alchemist for a very long time, and I'm all about transforming bad vibes into good ones. And I say that, but there really aren't any bad vibes. There's only good ones, but people understand when I say bad vibes into good vibes, okay? It really is. Can you go from annoyance to a greater state? So it's like wherever you are, can you navigate and apply some tools to go to the next level, okay? So I love what you shared, because in a heartbeat, you can switch a frequency like that. So part of it is that I thought to myself, if I lived in California and I wanted to go to New York, right? If I decide I'm going to go to New York, but I don't know where in California I'm at, how will I know like how to navigate there and get there faster? So that's why I created the soul frequency deck. And it comes in, I did the little cute bag so people can carry it in their purse. And what I really wanted was for people to know there are no bad emotions. It's just wherever you are, can you elevate? Can you, perform some gratitude? Can you look at the clouds and really be in awe of the beauty that life is, and shift your vibrational frequency, right? Your soul frequency, right? So there's a whole, obviously I did a little journal with these so that you get a little mini guidebook with it. I have a little video that goes with it as well. But there's a lot to prepare to do a soul frequency reading. Okay. Like you want to make sure your energy is clear so that you're tapped into the highest frequency that you can to get guidance. But so, yeah. So like, should we do a little sample right now? Should I?
I always love to get a little reading for the people,
Okay,
now and in the future, who
yeah,
are watching this, and it's going to be relevant. And I
perfect.
just love your cards. So I'm excited to have a little
Yeah,
frequency reading, and we can vibe
exactly.
up.
So what I'll do is I'll just pick a card, and we'll just do a general frequency. So my request is that anybody who's watching this or watching it at a later time or here, that whatever happens and whatever frequency we pick is something that they need to hear right now. And that's something that could benefit them now and in the future, which is so funny because the frequency I got was impatience. So this is so funny. Okay, so if you are watching this and you are making a card deck, I mean, mine was 7 years in the making. So impatience is what a phenomenal frequency for this show, right? Because as a creator, especially a card deck creator, sometimes it can be very impatient. Like sometimes I couldn't get the how the cards show up blurry sometimes. That one took me forever to figure out like how to lay it out. So like impatience, what a perfect reading for this. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. Okay. So impatience is the annoyance at having to wait. When you are being impatient, you are irritable or restless. Trying to force things or control things never ends well for anyone. You miss life and the present moment. And the present moment is all you really have. This frequency may erode trust. Ask the angels for divine timing on your life path and to fill you with peace and trust. So how funny that you brought the word annoyance up and it came up again here, right? And it's really an opportunity to like trust in the divine timing. And there's no accident. I was speaking to somebody earlier and I was just saying, no, divine timing is everything. So where I wanted my cards to be done 7 years ago, they're so wanted and needed now. Before it probably would have been fine and like whatnot, but like I like to make it impact, right? So that's what the Spa for Your Soul is all about, is providing tools for people to nourish their soul. I really believe soul care is the new self-care. And this card and these cards are a way to say, oh, where have I been impatient, right? Where have I not stopped? And it's a good lesson for me, the person I was talking to earlier, and for anybody watching is, you know what? Divine timing is everything. In the most perfect time, you will impact that one person, that 10 people, 100 people, whatever it is. And you have to trust that. So something that I've been working on for, 7 years now is coming to fruition at a time, we're in the middle of a pandemic where it's actually needed so that people can know how to navigate. So usually it's just about like asking the angels and the guides to kind of give you some peace or whatever the card says. But I want to leave people with, because you made a really good suggestion, right? And embracing the beauty around you to alter your frequency. Another thing is gratitude. And I just want to take this minute to I'm so grateful for the guides and the toolkit that you provided so that I can actually, take it, like it made it faster for me to go ahead and take something that I'm so passionate about to get out there. So when you are in a lower frequency, throw some gratitude, find somebody, be grateful, find something you're just so grateful for and experience it. It will help alter the frequency. So that is how you do a frequency reading. That was just a little sample. So
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. And I so agree with you about appreciating, what's showing up in your life. And I get emails nearly every day saying, I was thinking about doing a card deck for a really long time. And then they Googled it or it popped up in a Facebook or Instagram ad. And it is that divine timing. And people can then just suddenly do their card decks really quickly. But you might have had a long gestation period, right? So thank you for doing that lovely reading. And I noticed, so I was looking on your website, so you've put your logo on the front. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your design choice there?
yes, so it kind of looks a little bit like energy. right? So it's like an atom and energy. And I really do believe energy is kind of like the first level of actualizing things in your life. It's also, represents movement, right? Energy and movement together. And there's like, there's 8 like core values that surround it. So it's like you need your values. What do you value? And really taking care of your energy. And always, always at the center is love. It's my little heart nails, like always at the center is love. That is kind of one of my core fundamental values in life. Is doing things with love, is experiencing love and all those different things. So that is why I put my logo everywhere. I want it to be a symbol, where soul care is the new self-care. Embrace loving your soul, embrace life, and know that everything is as it should be. And if you take care of your energetic footprint, you can actually make a difference in the world.
I love that. And I love the color as well that you've chosen. It's sort of like dusky pink mixed with gold. So it's stunning.
Exactly.
And could I ask how you're using the cards in your business? Like obviously you have quite a successful business doing soul care, the spa for your soul, and doing readings. And I was looking at your team. You have quite a big team as well. So I'd love to know how you're incorporating it in the cards in your business.
It's so funny when I first got them, and I haven't done much promotions for it yet. Okay. So I first got them and I was having a really bad day. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm going to pull one of my cards. Right. So I pull one of my cards and I was reading it, and when you get moved to tears by your own cards, like reminding you of, how great you are, or whatever that thing that was that you needed to hear. I remember I needed to hear what my card said to me. And so in that moment, we use it a lot. So whenever I'm dealing, sometimes I do soul frequency readings for people. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, let's just get a read on our team. I also do a weekly soul frequency reading for the collective. I do it live on Instagram, usually on Sundays around 11 Mountain. And so what I'll do is I'll pick one of the cards and we'll do a collective reading. Like, what is it out there right now in the world? And it's funny that this week's reading from last Sunday was beauty. And so it's funny how like, yes, beauty is around us, right? And what I appreciate in my soul frequency readings for the collective is I use a few other card decks and I give messages. So not only what the messages that come from my cards, but what can you do to either elevate or really embrace the soul frequency for the collective, right? So it's funny because when you're in a community of vibing up, like the frequency might be really low, like it might be guilt or something, right? And it's okay, because then when you're going out there, you're like, what is going on with people? It's the
Yes.
collective.
And
Yeah,
you
there's
can feel it, right? Like
yes, yes. You
a
walk
couple of weeks
outside.
ago, myself and a lot of my friends where we live in Australia, we just suddenly felt really just exhausted, like from, COVID, I call it COVID fatigue. And so it's just interesting, like and people were frustrated. So you'd go out, people were more aggressive on the roads and stuff. So having your frequency, collective frequency reading goes, so I will put the link to your Instagram account below so we can all check out your Sunday live. And I just also wanted to ask you, you chose not to do a box and to do a bag instead. And I really love this idea. And I get a lot of resistance from some people who, you want to have a card deck like Hay House, right? But we can't all have that. And there's sort of this division between the boxes and the baggers. So there's a lot of people that actually prefer the bag for themselves, because then, like you said, you can pop it in your handbag and off you go and, start shuffling a card at some random place. So I'd love to know about your decision about not to do a box.
Yes. Well, one, I like to be different. Obviously, I'm like, soul care is the new self-care, right? Like whatever most people are out there talking about, I usually am doing something different. So like everybody right now is like inundated with manifesting. And I'm like, no, it's about actualizing. Okay. Everybody is about like, everybody wants the box. And yeah, that's the traditional way to do it. I agree. But the thing about this is I carry these everywhere, and it's so much easier, just to throw this in my bag than have a whole box inside there that I have to now take open and things like that. It's just, I work, all the other decks I use have boxes. This is the only one that has has a bag, and I love it. I also, I feel like this also, the bag, like a box is harder to like make it yours. Like this is mine. There's nothing on it. It's plain, and you can like infuse your energy. Like this is a carrying case for, soul frequencies for people, right? And you can have your energy on it. And like a box is the person who designed it, it's their energy on the box, right? So when you get a card deck and you have to clear your deck and make the deck yours, I feel that when you have the box, it's still saying we're the designer's box. And this is something that I wanted to be for others. It's not about me. It's about how can these cards become yours and a tool to help elevate and vibe you up and the people around you up. So that's why I chose this. Plus it's just very easy to throw in my purse. So that's it.
Thank you. I really love the bags. I use, I don't have one here, but I do have like a chiffon bag. This is just lavender from my garden to calm my nervous system, but I have hot pink ones. And I put them in there, and I like to just make it more feminine as well. Like I'm really into beauty, as you can tell by my background. I love beautiful things and flowers. So I love what you've done with the bag. And I was just wondering if you could share with us any tips you have for people who are just starting out, and they may not have had a 7-year gestation. They might have even just had a 7-day thinking about it, and now they've got the toolkit, or they might just do it on their own. What advice would you have for people just starting out with their card deck design?
Yeah. Well, I just took like note cards. They were like beautiful note cards. They were colored on my website, I think, and about all the way to the bottom, you can see them. But I just put a little label, and so I made a mock-up. Okay. And I just started with a number, whatever the scale numbers were. And that's how I started, but I practiced with people, and I did a couple people so I can get the languaging and like, what was I trying to communicate? Right. Like, so it became about kind of a little bit of practice. So that's really what helped me kind of start to get my arms around what it was going to look like for myself, was practicing with a few people around me who were open. Yeah, do me. And I'll have to tell you something really funny. I did it with like an 11-year-old, right? Because she was like, do me. And so we did it. And her mom was going through a divorce, and she picked the anger card. And I remember her sitting there being like, no, I'm not angry. And she put it back in and shuffled them again, and she got anger again, and so my point is magic can happen. And you know what, just get it out there in whatever form it is. Get it out there, especially right now. People need tools and support right now, and it's just the perfect time. So I would say, don't be perfectionistic. Just get it on, even if it's like play cards for now. Just practice with a couple people, and then start to get your languaging. Because as you're practicing with people, you'll start to get the wording. You'll start to get the knowing. Some of us get downloads, so you'll just get the downloads, and then just you set out the whole map. So just use your toolkit, and it'll be super fast. That's what I would say.
That's really great advice. We had someone on our creators virtual cuppa the other day who had printed them out, and then just cut them out from her computer, and was just testing them out before she got them printed. And I noticed your design's very simple, which I like. Like sometimes we think that they have to be complicated, or they have to have a lot of images, but you only have the single image on your cards. Can you just hold them up for a sec?
Absolutely. So it's just the symbol.
Yeah.
And then it's just the writing.
Yeah. And it's just very simple, but you can feel it just, so it doesn't have to be overcomplicated design wise either.
No, I really liked simple as well, because like I said, these it wasn't so much of the falling in love with what I created. It's the falling in love with what you get to create, and whoever purchased this, it's falling in love and them making it their own, right? Like, I don't know. So that's all I'll say about that. It's
Well,
just
I
like
feel like the cards, you make them once, but then they go off out into the universe basically and have this little life of their own. So like my permission slips, friends of mine who are healers and Reiki practitioners and readers, they have them, and they have their own experience with their clients as well. And I've mentioned in another video where this old gentleman emailed me and he said he was in hospital and they were doing art therapy and they had my cards, and he came home, Googled it and ordered 2 packs for himself. So one to give away. So you just don't know the impact that you're going to have, with your creation, because it's always going to be more than you think, I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that any tool that can make a difference for a person wherever they are, help them navigate the time we're living, is spectacular. And it is pretty cool and incredible to see something you've worked so hard become a manifestation and actualization. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. So yeah, thanks for like having me here. And I like how you really love beauty too. I'm definitely into the pinks and love beauty as well. So it's great to find a fellow card creator.
Yes, life should be beautiful. I'm not into ugly life, having an ugly life. I want a beautiful life, and your creations are adding to that. So I just want to say thank you so much, Erlinda, for joining us. And if people want to check out your website, I'll just double check that I've got it right. So it's thespaforyoursoul.com. And I'll put the links below, and I'll also include your Instagram and anything else that I think is useful for people. But I just love where you're coming from with self-care, because obviously it's bandied around a lot and it's a bit, flogged like a dead horse, as we say here in Australia. And it is that soul care, and expressing your creativity and that seed of brilliance within you, that's soul care too. Like if you don't express yourself, there's part of you that's dying. I don't know if you can relate to that.
100%, 100%. Yes. And I do have a Facebook group. It's I think it's the Soul Care Movement. If you look that up on Facebook, it's a private group, but I do frequency assessments and clearings in there, and offer some very cool other things too. So I just wanted to put that out there in case anybody wants, to join our community. We're small but mighty right now, and we're about to, get bigger, because I just left my corporate job to do this. So this is it. This is happening. So come join us.
So the wings are there and you're taking flight, and yes, everyone watch out. Erlinda's coming.
The soul care movement is coming your way.
And I do love that core message. Like, it's so beautiful and really powerful. So thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all the best with your soul care movement. I'll go and join the Soul Care Movement Facebook group, and I'll put all the links below. So thank you so much, Erlinda.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank
okay.
you. I hope you enjoyed that. Wasn't it interesting? And I hope you got some inspiration and some tips from listening to this. So if you're interested in making your own card deck, I invite you to check out the Card Deck Creators Toolkit that I've created for people like you who want to create their own inspirational, affirmation, or oracle card deck. There's so many different card decks that you can create. So I invite you to check out the links below to get the toolkit and get on your way creating. And if you've already created your own card deck, congratulations. Share a link below. I'd love to see it. Much love to you, and take care.